Comfortable?
Yes.
Good. I have gone through your CV form. You have listed cricket and football as your favorite sports, and you have also remained captain of your college cricket team.
Yes,
correct?
Sir. Yes, sir. School's cricket team.
School, I stand corrected.
Right, sir.
May I ask you a couple of questions regarding cricket or both of these sports?
Sure, sir.
All right. I'll limit myself to cricket only. Beta, can you tell me who was Kerry Packer and what was his contribution towards cricket?
Sir, I think he was an Australian player, but I'm not sure about his contributions.
Australian player?
I think, but I'm not sure about it. So I'm not really sure about his contributions towards cricket too.
तो बेटे फिर क्रिकेट तो आपका फेवरेट नहीं हो सकता स्पोर्ट. आज जो आप T20 देखते हो, वन डे स्पेशली, उसमें जो चेंजेस हैं, कलर्ड यूनिफॉर्म, वाइट बॉल्स, लाइटिंग्स, 9 कैमरास लगे हुए हैं उनको रिकॉर्ड करने के लिए, वो सारी उसकी कंट्रीब्यूशन है. डे नाइट क्रिकेट उसकी कंट्रीब्यूशन है. ही वॉज नॉट एन ऑस्ट्रेलियन प्लेयर, ही वॉज द ओनर ऑफ ए टीवी चैनल. वो लंबी हिस्ट्री है, but we won't go into that. I expected you to know the answer to this, but probably that was before your time. ये पुरानी बात है. Okay, another question on cricket. There are 5 bowlers in the world who have never ever bowled a no ball throughout their career. वो कौन है? उनमें से 3 के नाम बता दो.
Sir, I'm not sure about this either.
एक पाकिस्तानी है. चलो मैं इतना ब्रॉड हिंट आपको देता हूँ. Who is that Pakistani?
If you allow me to guess, sir, he might be Imran Khan, maybe.
Okay, you are correct, but बेटे guess work से बात नहीं बनती है. 4 others, आपको नाम उनके कम ना कम 2-3 के तो आने चाहिए ना. Anyway, Kite Runner, one of your 2 favorite books. I have read the book, I have seen the movie also. What is the message that the writer is trying to convey in this book?
So the main message and the theme which I got from the book was that the writer basically at one particular point he gets one thing dawns upon him that when he's in the hospital, if you've read the book you might be familiar with the scene when he's in the hospital, his father is dying and his father is basically an antagonist basically, and he thinks that this is one place where I believe that the poor find their own God. So his belief in God is basically reinforced at that particular point. I think that is one of the major...
What is the message?
The message is that there is some upper force who is basically catering for the people who are poor as well. And we need to be believing in that too.
All right. Are there any countries in the world that do not recognize Pakistan? If so, please name them.
So I think Israel is one of them because we have not recognized them and they have not recognized us too.
और भी है कोई?
I'm not sure about them, sir.
All right, better tell me, why is Pakistan reluctant to recognize Israel? Shouldn't we accord recognition to this important country in the world, especially when our Middle Eastern friends have started doing so?
So basically one thing is that we also got our two-nation theory principle, due to which our country was basically partitioned from India, is basically in conflict with Israel's occupation too. So our raison d'etre basically is that Israel is basically an occupying force on Palestinians. So if that solution is not, you can say, solved properly, we will not be recognizing them. Second thing is that Israel is definitely an important country, but you know that Israel is not the only country as well. There is an argument that we need to be building coalitions with Israel. We can build trading partnerships with Israel as well, but there are countries like India and China. We already have good relations with China, and we can have good relations with India too, which is right, you know, our neighbor. So instead of building coalitions with Israel and all that,
but we do recognize India, don't we? We are talking about recognizing Israel. Anyway, beta, there is a lot of talk and discussion going on in the country about according Gilgit-Baltistan the status of a province. There is also talk that people say that some elements say that if we do that, Pakistan will impact Pakistan's stand on Kashmir. What are your comments on that?
Sir, there are 2 aspects to that, and definitely one of them is that India and international community accord Gilgit-Baltistan a part of Kashmir. And if we make Gilgit-Baltistan,
Don't you think it's part of Kashmir?
it is, sir. It is, but due to basically Gilgit-Baltistan is basically considered it wants to have become a fifth province of Pakistan, and if we accept it as a province, that means we will be accepting the de facto arrangement as Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan as our part and Indian occupied as their part as well. So that is one of the reasons why we're not according the status of a province to GB. Second thing is that this particular issue of Kashmir is supposed to be resolved through a plebiscite. Now that plebiscite is yet to be taken, and Pakistan believes that if Gilgit-Baltistan is accorded the status of province, those 1.2 million votes will be lost as they will be considered as Pakistani citizens and they will not be able to take part in that plebiscite.
Good. Okay, last question from my side. Pakistan is suffering from scarcity of water, acute scarcity of water. What measures would you suggest to overcome this scarcity of water, apart from building of dams? वो तो obvious है ना, dams बना लो जी.
Absolutely.
उसके अलावा what measures would you suggest to overcome this scarcity?
So basically, I would discuss this in 3 points. There is a multi-pronged strategy which needs to be dealt to deal with this issue. One thing is the awareness program. We are wasting a lot of water. People need to understand the importance of this particular issue, that water is very scarce and we are now...
Okay. That's one.
Yes. Second one is that we need to be shifting our methods of agriculture as well. Currently, world is shifting towards drip irrigation and modern techniques of agriculture which use very less water as compared to the...
Can you use drip irrigation for growing rice?
So no, that is one particular crop, obviously that needs flood, other water, but there are other crops too which can be used through drip irrigation and sprinkle systems.
Sprinkler, shabash.
Yes, sir.
Or
and third thing is, sir, our basically in dyeing industries and textile industries, they are consuming a lot of our water too, and there are now modern techniques which require far less water to dye the exact amount of, you can say, cloth or to manufacture the textile products as well. So we need to convince our textile industries as well to shift to the modern methods of manufacturing processes which will use very less water as compared to the current.
What do you think about lining of canals?
Yes.
Seepage बहुत होती है.
बिल्कुल sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir.